I'll mess around with.
Hello and welcome to Jabberjaw. I'm your host, Jessica Dawson Collier, and with me, as always, is Tyson Wheeler Dynas and Matthew David Smith. Guys, welcome.
Well,
Hey,
thank
thanks.
you. Thank
Hey,
you.
hey.
Always good to be back. Always good to be
Yes, it
looking
is.
at the duck hunt print behind Matt. I always enjoy that, and
I
I
like
enjoy
it too.
and
It's
I like
nice.
and I like your Wizard of Oz thing. I assume that's a Mondo.
It is a Mondo.
Oh yeah.
I told Jonas we need to start switching them out, so he switched RoboCop with that one. So
Did you watch that singing version of the Wizard of Oz?
The
whatever that
Wiz.
was? No, not the Wiz. That's a classic.
I've seen
No,
it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a
the
classic.
Wiz is awesome. No, what's
Yeah.
that new one? There's like a new. Wasn't there one like this year, late last year?
Like a live action something?
No, it's
or-
like wasn't it like about the witch and had lots of singing? It was a
Oh, the
musical.
Wicked.
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 Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking
I
of.
still haven't seen it.
Yeah, no, I went and saw the theater.
Sorry,
and
Beth. I feel like Beth would be pissed about that.
actually, I went and saw it with Mom and Dad at Christmas, and Beth couldn't come because we had puppies, and I was like, and then I was like, oh, this is really
You're
good.
pleasantly surprised.
I was.
Did like all musicals take after that, or have you?
You
Just
know what?
completely-
No. But basically, what it
You're a
is.
showman now, Tyson.
No.
Don't deny it. Don't deny it.
No. But I will say that it's like Harry Potter meets Wizard of Oz. So
Okay.
they did a really nice job. James Wan.
That's what
did
I've heard.
it, and
Yeah.
and he makes really great horror movies. So, and I was like,
Makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know. He's got the practical skills probably as a director to make it look magical, and it really was. So it was quite good.
Do they mention Kansas a lot? Do they talk about Kansas at
They did.
all?
They
a little bit.
No, not
I
really.
thought maybe they updated it to something, slightly. I don't know.
No, basically, like I'm looking up. That means that I'm trying to remember. That's a good poker tell for everyone that's watching. Basically, basically, no. But the here's the bitch of the deal. So it's about an hour. It's about maybe 20 minutes too long. I went to the bathroom in the middle and I didn't miss anything. And so but there's lots of stuff going on. Jeff Goldblum is the Wizard of Oz. He's quite fun in it, and you should watch it. You should watch it. Here's the thing I didn't know. It's part 1. There's a part 2.
No.
They didn't advertise that. So I thought I'd see the whole thing, but really it's just part 1, and they're releasing part 2 next Christmas. So
Okay.
but the music is, it's good, and but the cute character actor,
I like that sort of thing.
but it's fine. I don't really care about it. I mean, unless it's the Blues Brothers, I don't really. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna take my teeth out. Sorry. Sorry. I just realized that I was not enunciating very well.
Something for the YouTubers.
Fun party trick. Yeah. The only thing cooler I've seen is I used to have a friend with a glass eye, and he'd just pop out of parties. That got a reaction. Let me tell you. Yeah.
That's a good.
bet. Good God.
A great bar trick, by the way.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Hey, can I look up your skirt?
Wow, that is comedy gold right there. Oh man.
I don't know if
that was one of the most terrifying moments of my childhood. Was like knowing about dentures and finding it out the really wrong way. Like in our first house, my grandma used to stay with us on the weekends a lot from Russell, my dad's mom, and I was like maybe 5 or 6. And you know how kids are, like, it doesn't matter if your grandparents are in the toilet or like taking a shower, bath, whatever. Like, you just barge in. It's like the same with your parents.
Yeah.
So grandma was on the toilet and she had just woken up and apparently didn't put her teeth in yet. And I run in there and I'm like, Grandma. And she goes, Durfee! Like, fucking, I will never forget it, ever. She literally had to sit me down, calm me down. It's okay. Like, tell me about dentures. And I was just like, oh my fucking God. I never want to get old, ever.
Your reality was just
it was like a reverse sex talk. It
really was.
No,
Ugh.
no, I love these little things. It was so funny because I'm
You want
using.
to plug them? See if we get some
Well, here's the
sponsors
deal.
finally. For fuck's sake, God.
Our
There,
listeners have beautiful, well-maintained teeth. I know
well,
that. I know that for
you
a fact.
two,
Yeah, I know that for a
you
fact.
two, and I'm going to say this lovingly. You two fuckers have beautiful, perfect teeth, and it
Why,
irritates me
thank you.
Yeah,
so much.
we go Dawson, but yeah, no, I've never had braces, but like, yeah,
You
I
have
think
good teeth.
I
Those
think they're all right.
teeth.
Yeah,
I
they're all
can't
right.
fucking talk.
Teeth, teeth.
Tyson, you have good teeth too.
Oh fuck no! I have the teeth
Well,
of
I mean,
of
you've
a
had some
Serbian peasant.
issues, but they look
Yeah,
good.
yeah, they look good because this is a second set, that I'm working on. It's a total reconstruction of the face. It's like I got new eyeballs, I got the teeth that are fixing, they rooted my nostrils. I mean, it's a
Yeah,
total
damn. There's
knockdown of what
nothing.
I
Wow.
got.
Every hole in your head just had something done to it.
And the
By a
weirdest thing,
professional,
yeah, and the weirdest thing is that my ears should be terrible because I was,
right?
being listening to loud
You,
That's
music,
true.
yeah.
and they're fine. So
Yeah,
it's
You
hey,
don't have any tinnitus or anything?
nothing, nothing.
That's fucking
yeah.
nuts.
I've
I
got the
have a little bit of
tinnitus.
that.
I've got the
Yeah.
tinnitus. I know exactly where I got it too.
You
So
know that they have found a cure for that, by the way.
shit, you're really? I mean, I've seen
Yeah.
like bullshit cures like
No,
online.
no, no, no.
Okay.
They think they've figured out how to do it. No, they're still testing it, but they think they have figured out how to fix that. So that's so.
No way.
Yeah, no,
Wow.
something to look forward to. I can't. I'm not going to ask the producers, but I
Yeah.
mean, I did.
It's I'm so used to it by now it doesn't even matter. Like,
But
Schmidt, where
that's the
did you
thing.
get yours though? Was it Ministry or was it some
No, it
other?
was in 1998, 97, 98, in Oklahoma City, and we saw the KMFDM show
yeah.
with a then unknown Ramstein, and I was right next to one of the cabinets,
Fuck.
and it was the loudest goddamn show of my life. Like literally for the next 2 days, like I just lit. I was my friend Ryan Glendenning, and a bunch of us went down there. This was also the night that we like killed a zoo worth of animals on the way back home. Like we just like shit just kept running in front of my car. Seriously, deer, like every like probably 6 or 7 things until the coup de grace, which was this owl that flew directly at the windshield and like just pulled up
What
the
the
road,
fuck
scared the
What's going
living
on?
shit out of us because it was like we took like back roads in Oklahoma
Oh,
and like it was dark as shit. Like that's where my
never a
terror.
good
I'm
idea.
still to this day afraid of driving at dark at night. Tyson knows it. I don't like to drive at night.
I do.
Kathy
Yeah.
knows this because that experience I know is what did it to me. It was
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, I was standing right next to a cabinet, and it was so loud. And like when we got home, I was Ryan Glendenning and my friend Dave Ziegler, a couple other guys had an apartment, and I was up for the weekend. I was always there on the weekend. When I went to K State, and I never probably spent a single weekend in Manhattan over the weekend. But no, and I literally I thought I was scared shitless because I thought like my hearing was gone because I
Yeah.
could not I could like make out like mumbles and like, but it was all very like it was bad. So
That would be scary.
it was scary.
Yeah.
So it did go away. I mean, I was able to, but the ringing persisted. And now we're, 27, 26 some years later. And no more than that. Oh, shit. Damn time. But anyway.
I know. Time sucks.
Time
It does.
suck. We should do away with it.
I want to know what Dawson's loudest show was, but just real
Yes.
fast, we went to a family reunion several years ago, and we drove to Dodge City, and we drove
Mhm.
from Kansas City to Dodge City, and we took this two lane highway to get there, and as it happened, 50 no, that's way small, like 200,000 frogs were trying to cross the road, you know, at the time we were driving down. I mean, we were killing so many frogs, like toads.
Yeah.
And
Toads. Yeah.
it was
Toads.
awful. It was just like
Oof.
we were just. I mean,
That would be
like
weird.
you just feel bad, but you're like,
Yeah. You
you're
got to
like,
get
well,
where you're going.
because they were like, we got to get over here, like because that's where I don't know the water. I mean, they were in water, and they're like, we got to get over here, and for about a 15-mile stretch, we just killed
Ooh.
thousands of frogs, and it was demoralizing. Really,
I bet.
This is
it was
weird moral dilemma.
it was like you don't stop because they're going to do it all night, like so what do you do, and so I mean it was very strange. Anyway, sorry.
Does the sound keep you up at night, Tice?
No, because I mean frogs. No, we were like, let's crank the stereo.
Silence of the frogs. Yeah.
We were at first. We were like, what is happening in the road? Like we were just like, oh no, like. And then we got to the hotel that night.
That's fucking terrifying.
There were frogs everywhere. And
where did this happen at?
It was. I think we were going south at somewhere in between Salina and Russell. We took a highway south to go to Dodge City. And we were having a Wheeler family reunion, and so, and then you could see the water on both sides, and there was a full moon, and I'm sure they were like, "Gotta get laid, let's go," and so they were just like, boom, 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 and we just demolished. I mean, like it was uncomfortable,
brutal.
Yeah. It was not cool. Anyway, Dawson, loudest show.
Loudest show. Well, the most recent loudest show was Ministry with Mr. Smith over there.
Ministry's always pretty loud. That was my
Jesus Christ! I was so happy to wear earplugs.
Big room too. Oh God, yes, we all were also.
Tice, my lungs were like shaking inside my body. Like that's how fucking loud it was.
Yeah, no, and I actually really like that. To be fair, but like if you have earplugs in, it's way nicer.
Oh, it was fine. Yeah, with earplugs, it was fine.
With that kick drum that kicks and you feel it in your chest, it's like
yes, yeah.
I don't even remember what show it was, but I remember distinctly going to a show that hurt. It was so loud and it hurt so much that like I had a pocket knife at the time. I literally cut chunks out of my socks to make because it was so loud, and I'm like I could feel my ears deteriorating, and I'm like I've got to do something about this. But yeah, I don't know that it does seem like shows have gotten quieter over the last.
It kind of does, right? Because it's not like Ozfest 2002. Blew my fucking eardrums out. Like it just every band was fucking awful, especially Hatebreed. That band in particular was horrible for a multitude of reasons, but mostly because of my eardrums.
I took the word hate and I took the word breed and I put them together. Metal. That's how metal is made.
Love metal. I fucking love that festival. It's one of my favorites of all time.
I've gotten more into metal. I've got not the new metal shit, but I have gotten more into
older metal.
Older better.
I would say that so the two that I can think of really was we went to the first Riot Fest outside of Denver because there were places playing there, and we bought the good tickets so you could go into the VIP section, but the VIP section was right next to the stacks, and Super Chunk didn't bother me at all, but because the kick, you'd feel the kick, and that was clearly the first time Beth had ever felt the kick, in the chest, and she's like, I think I'm having a heart palpitation. I'm like, you're not, it's fine. But
isn't that nuts? Yeah.
But the loudest show I ever saw was in 1996. Hepcat played, and they were opening for Mighty Mighty Boss Tones, and Mighty Mighty Boss Tones were so loud. It was.
You know what?
So loud.
I was weirdly at that same show.
It was at the Granada.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that was loud.
It was so loud. That's crazy you were there because we saw 4 shows that weekend. I saw 4 shows. I saw Lemonheads with the guitar player from the Go-Go's. She had a little band called
Jane Wheatland?
Yeah, Jane Wheatland had a little band, and she opened for Lemonheads. That was a great show. He was sober. We were so fucked up on drugs. He was great. You never know. And then
either way, the audience wins.
Yeah, right. And then we saw Sunvolt the next night, and that was great. And then the third night we saw, it was Hepcat and the dudes. And then the fourth night we saw Super Drag and
sick.
And Weezer.
Oh wow!
Oh wow!
It was it was 4 nights in a row of shows. I was just like, and I was getting ready to move to Florida, and I was like, this will be kind of fun. So I went and did it. But anyway, that show with the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones was so loud. I was like, I'm gonna have permanent damage because my dad's an audiologist. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I was just like, but yeah, it was so loud. Like
I
it was.
completely even forgot that I gone to that show. And I do. Like it was the horns. It was, oh my God. It was, yeah. It
Yeah,
was
like the tweeters with the horns was like it was like a buzzsaw that cut through the top of your skull.
it was, yeah, yeah. It was, yeah, that was a loud show. Yeah.
You saw Beach House last night, and
Yes,
I
that's
did.
right.
Yeah. Hmm.
I will say this: I saw Beach House one time at at the Riot Fest in Chicago.
What did you think? Because some people, and I get it, they find it to be very sleepy, a little too sleepy.
What I've
I don't. I think it's fucking great. It's very moving. It's like atmospheric. You kind of feel like you're in space or floating around,
yeah,
especially if you're on drugs. But
but I mean that was my vibe. Everybody in that room, in that field, watching that show was on ecstasy, and they were just
yeah,
like,
I bet.
and they were just all like, and whatever, and it was so easy to move around with them because they're just like whatever, like, and
Yeah.
like, and they would keep distance, but then they would go and touch people, and I was like, okay, you guys are either on a beach house high, which is possible, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
For sure.
I've listened to their stuff, and I like some of it, but it's not my thing, But it,
That's
like,
fair. It's not everybody's thing. It's
but I mean,
definitely my thing.
they're good songwriters. I mean, there's no way around it. It's just the general vibe and everything that they do in their show. At least I thought, and you can talk to this, but obviously you can talk. But because you
I
just saw
can
them last night,
talk.
you can talk
Really?
to it last night.
Oh.
You just saw them last night. But everything they do in their show is so dreamy and like smoky, and then it's all a bunch of like outlines of the people playing. There's no
It's just
spotlights.
silhouettes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
It's
don't.
beautiful. I love that. It was cool last night because when we saw them, this was like 2017 at Moody Theater in Austin, Texas for the first time. I was high out of my mind and I was right up there by stage with Jonas. And both him and I were just bawling the whole time, swaying. Like we were like the people that were like smelling your hair probably and like trying to feel you at that time. That was amazing. Last night was very cool too. I mean, we were drunk, but we didn't like take anything. We went with some friends who had seen them before, and our friend Vanny had seen them 4 other times, 2 of which she said she was on acid. And she
No,
said, that's how to watch them.
I
Because,
believe.
and then I thought of you, Tice, because like she was like, it's amazing with the lights and the silhouettes. They just drip. She was like, everybody was dripping. And I was just gawking at the stage for way too long. And she said it was one of the best concerts she's ever been to. And then I asked her about last night. She's like, yeah, it was all right.
Yeah, I mean, everyone should take acid. It's great. So they should.
I don't know about that. I have been with you, sir. When we'll delete that. Just
Yeah.
pretend you
No,
didn't hear
no,
anything.
no, yeah, that's our delete. That's our delete is apology. Yes. It's
Uh,
like, just pretend you didn't hear what you just actually just heard.
Oh, that was one of the scariest moments of my life being a Sherpa for you and your friends in New York, Tice. That's all I'll say.
I didn't take no. I didn't take acid that night. Didn't give
Oh,
me.
wait, you didn't.
No,
Wait,
I
I
didn't.
thought you did. I thought you
No.
snuck it.
Oh no. I didn't
Oh,
get any
okay.
acid. They had 2 tabs, and they were like bloop bloop, and then I was like, I got a call from her the next day, and I was like, "How's it going?" And she's like, "I've been crying for the last 3 hours."
Jesus
I'm
Christ.
like,
Yeah.
I was like, she's like, "I can't sleep," and that happens sometimes, you can't sleep. But no, I didn't take any acid that night.
Okay.
I was just
Wink. All right.
having a good time. No, I didn't take any acid. It was fun. We did Rock Band that night, and then we had the big drive home.
I mean, it was a crazy apartment of
It
light
wasn't.
drug usage.
It was very weird. And they would get out. Do you remember this? They had like they were 4 stories up, and they would get out in their tiny little rickety. Maybe you didn't go and have cigarettes outside on the thing.
On the roof? Yes.
No, not on the roof.
Oh.
On the they had like a little like easily the most condemnable fire escape I've ever seen in my entire
Oh
life.
no, I did see that and I was like, that's a huge mistake.
Yeah, yeah. I went out there
I
and I
just
was
remember Glassman and I were like the most sober people there. If
yeah.
that gives anybody some sort of, description of the evening.
No, I didn't take any acid then. I haven't taken any acid since Florida. Oh no, I took. Never mind. I shouldn't talk about this. Whatever. Anyway, It's been easily 10 years since I've taken it.
Oh, memories. Good times. Good times.
Uh, yeah,
It's fine.
do you guys have anything you want to talk about before I get into my spiel?
That's all I've been. Well, I got other stuff, but Smith, what have you been up to?
My kind of news, like I always like the problem with doing this podcast on a regular routine basis that like sort of X amount of life has to happen before
That's
you
true.
have enough content. And so I scraped some headlines together. But I think kind of my weekend, we went to a movie premiere, which I'll talk about, documentary premiere at the
Ooh,
IMAX, which was pretty cool.
Ooh.
that is cool.
One of our friends he's a director and makes documentary things. And so
That's amazing.
yeah, it's cool. It's cool. So yeah, I'll talk about
I
that.
love how casual you are about this. I
That's
feel like
because I'm
Tyson and I would
trying
be
to.
like,
I mean, he's
"Hey,
not like a. I mean, there's a lot of documentary makers out there, but he's done it. I mean, for like 30 years, and like makes a living of it. And so no, it's really good. Yeah, it's really cool, really cool. And he was his father was actually like a really famous college basketball and
Hmm.
player, and was like part of the Loyola, like in the 1960s. They had like the first
Yeah,
non-segregated
yeah, black
basketball game.
faculty. Yeah,
Yeah, it was a
yeah.
big deal, and he was on that team. So he does a lot of kind of African American focused like documentaries, and does all kinds. He's done tons of stuff, and so yeah, I'll talk about that in my plug. That's my lone plug, and I'll get to it then. So with
sweet,
that said, I want to know
yes."
everything. I want
Okay,
to know it
Tell
all.
us about your trip.
so so as we teased last week, we Beth and I went to Antiques Roadshow Tuesday. We went down Monday night, spent the
To
night
St. Louis, is
to
that right?
St. Louis.
Yeah.
It was a place called Grant's Farm, which is Ulysses S. Grant's farm in the middle of and they just basically it's 180 acres, and they basically have just maintained it, and they have all kinds of animals on there and different things to go and see, and the Bush family bought it at one point, and you can tour their house, which is like 100 rooms that was built in like 1900. So I mean, we didn't get to do any of that, but it sounds like a fun place to go back and visit. Anyway,
Yeah. Yeah.
we got tickets by lottery. That's how you get tickets to go see.
Okay.
And
Uh-huh.
so you just every year you just apply, and then we got them this year, and so we went and uh, our ticket time was 9 o'clock. So a lot of this is going to be about logistics because I think that's the most interesting thing about how they do a show like this.
Right.
Because I was always curious how that works out, and then I'll tell you what happened to us. But anyway, so we got there, free parking, nice.
Nice. Nice.
It
Yeah,
is.
so got there and we checked in, got badges and not badges, but like rings, wristbands, and then we walked over to the tram, waited in line for the tram. They put us on the tram. We went to this thing, and then they put us in the stables because there's a bunch of Clydesdale, like Budweiser Clydesdales there, which is a big ding,
Oh,
and
okay.
for Bush beer, and for just Missouri in general. And so
I saw that the Bush Pavilion. I was like, ooh, Bush. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And so so anyway, we lined up. By the way, I just want to say the vibe there is fantastic. Everybody's happy to be there. Everybody's
I bet.
excited. Everybody's
Yeah.
hopeful. Everybody is like, "What do you got?" Well, I got this thing. And you're like, I mean, and you just talk to
That's what I
everybody.
was curious about, the conversations, like trying to do, everybody up a little bit.
Yeah, no, it was great because it was there was no like you're not competing against each other. You're competing against history or value or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
Right.
And so
sure.
Right.
everybody's happy to tell stories and blah blah. And so we met this little, and there's people all, like ages, like this girl in front of us, she was 9 and her mom was there with her and she had brought this thing and she was so excited to talk about it, and all this stuff. And so anyway, we're just, you just all, if you want to have a conversation with anyone, you can, which is amazing.
That's
Oh,
all you
cool.
got to do is, what did you bring? And they're so excited to tell you what they brought.
So
whatever.
I have a question. Do you tell them during the lottery process what you're going to bring, or is it completely
It's a good
just
question.
random?
You can say, I have this thing, and I think you might want to put it on the show, and you can fill out a
Okay.
big form.
Okay.
I didn't do that. I just
Okay.
said, give me, like, put me in the list,
Okay.
and if we win,
Okay.
we win, and that's great.
Gotcha.
And
But
by the
they
way,
give you a list of things not to bring, right?
yes,
Tice, didn't you
yes,
say that?
yeah,
Oh
Okay.
yeah,
they
you were
do.
talking about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so there's some things that they're just like, and if you bring like I think I mentioned this last week, if you bring an antique firearm and they figure out, first off, they take it from you at the gate. If you bring an antique firearm,
Okay.
and then they go and they have somebody inspect it, and then they're like, it's loaded, so we're not,
Yeah, what
like,
the fuck are you thinking?
well, but
Like,
a lot of people don't know that they're loaded. They just know it's been in the closet for
Oh,
100 years,
oh, got it.
and so
Okay.
Yeah.
and they wouldn't be able to buy ammunition for it anyway. Like they just don't know.
Sure.
So
Okay. Well, yeah, that makes sense.
But that's the big one. There's some other ones I mentioned, like the glass fire extinguishers, which is so funny to me that you would even build something like that. But anyway, back in the day. I mean, back in the day, did you guys know they used to clean laundry with gasoline? Did you know that?
I
No?
know that that's basically how dry cleaning works. Like it's
Yes.
not much far removed from dry cleaning.
Yes,
Like
it
it's
is.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
It's not dry. No, it's pure just chemical goodness.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
and then basically it cleans it, but it also, like, sort of evaporates immediately if you put it through the right machinery.
Yeah.
But if you're doing it on a washboard, you got to be kind of careful with the gasoline. Like,
Friction and
A little
heat
bit.
and
Yeah.
yeah.
boom
But
boom. Yeah.
anyway, so we're in this line. You go, and then they give you these two little, they give you a little flyer, and so it says, hey, you're at Antiques Roadshow. There's some information about it, and on the back it says 2 items. And then you go and you show your 2 items to a handful of people, and they go, okay, that's a watch, so go to watch and jewelry, and they stamp your thing. And then, like, I had that Mant poster. Oh, it's gone. Right, I haven't put it back up. And I was like, this is a poster, but it's also a movie prop, blah blah. And I was like, I was like, so I was hoping to, meet. And he's like, well, this is a collectible. So collectible. I was like, damn it, I was hoping to meet Nicholas Lowry. And he goes, oh, he loves getting selfies. You should go and get a selfie with him. And I was like, oh, okay, that's cool.
He
And
loves
so
it. That sounds like a trick to me. That like
A little bit.
that sounds like
Yeah.
a
it
little bit
was
of a
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
absolutely
totally.
trick. It
He
was absolutely
loves getting selfies.
he.
Yeah,
It was absolutely a trick, and I'll get to that in a second.
that's awesome.
And so anyway, so Beth had the Bible, so that was books, and then she had this ring, and so it was jewelry, watches, and so they stamp the things. You take your stuff, you walk out, and then they go, um, and then they just have a bunch of people. So there's hundreds and hundreds of people with just like, like headphones like this and walkie talkies, and they're just there talking to you, and they're sending you everywhere you want to go, right? And
Wow.
so now, let's talk about the scope a little bit about this. So we were talking to the woman who was loading us in the tram, and she worked there on as at the farm, not for
Okay.
PBS.
Okay.
Oh,
And
okay.
and so I was like, how long is this? Because like the tickets are obviously staggered. We don't know. And she's like, well, I got here at 6. Doors open at 8. They said it will go to 8 or longer. And she said they try to do 150 people every 30 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was kind of doing the math on this, and I think maybe that's unfair because you can bring 2 things each person. So I think probably what it is it's closer to 150 appraisals every half hour, which is still
Okay.
300 appraisals. I worked out the number. If you went from 8 to 8, that's 16,000 people. No, 18,000 people coming through on a single day to do this thing.
Jesus Christ.
But here's the deal: it's so well organized. We got there at 9, and
Hmm.
we were done at 11:45, and we had
Okay.
four
Wow.
appraisals done. You know,
Wow.
so
It's pretty good.
and then I looked up uh, the appraisers on their website the night before, and they listed 428 appraisers.
Holy shit! I was just about
Wow.
to ask you
That's
how many.
surprising.
That's crazy.
Now, I
Wow.
don't
Yeah.
know if there were that many of them there, and some of them were backups or whatever, but they said that's the 2025 group of appraisers. So,
Dang.
so anyway, and we saw. I mean, they were around, like like the people you see on TV. I mean, everyone was geeking out. They're like, "Oh my god, that's a girl who does and it's like, "Oh my god, that's the girl that talks really
Yeah.
loud, but she's really short," and and then we have to look up their names and I had two that I wanted to see. I stood right next to one of the guys I wanted to see when I was doing my watch, and he was doing jewelry, and I was like, "Oh, I want to ask him for a selfie," and he was taking selfies with a bunch of people, but I didn't want to bother him. And so I was like, "Beth, just take pictures of me near them. That'd be great. That's good enough." Like, you know, so so we were doing all this stuff. Anyway, so the first thing we did is we went to this book, the book, because my wife had this Bible, and her
Haunted Bible? No. It's
no,
not, is it?
I don't know.
Was,
I mean,
was
I don't see any weirdness in this house. It's been here.
Okay.
It's been in two houses. Uh,
I've noticed a dark figure in the corner over there, but I haven't said anything.
I
well,
mean, and 50% of those houses burnt down. So,
I mean,
I mean,
I do have a black cat in
I
here
get your
somewhere.
comfort, but
Uh,
place.
so anyway, the story with the Bible. Have I told you this already? I've already gone over this.
I know it was Daniel Boone's
It
Bible
was
or
Daniel Boone's
Yeah.
part of the Boone
cousin. It
family.
was his cousin's
It was
Bible.
his
Okay,
cousins. Okay.
okay.
So here's the first thing I kind of learned about how Antiques Roadshow works. So Beth was like, my mom was dying from cancer. She was garage sailing. She found this Bible. She paid $1 for it. The woman came out and gave her the dollar back, and she's like, I just need somebody to take care of this Bible because I can't do it. Somebody needs to take care of it. And she didn't know what the fuck. And anyway, so she did some research on it, and she figured out that it was so Daniel Boone's brother. Um, had a son named Squire, and this was his Bible. It was brought over from England in the 1700s. It,
Okay.
um, her sister, her mom's sister, lived next to in Williamsburg, Virginia, and
Okay.
so she sent the Bible with them to get it restored. So this guy's looking at the Bible. He's like, "This is really in great shape," and she's like, "Yeah, we had it restored." Well, okay. Oh, sorry. So she's telling the story. She's like, my mom was dying from cancer. She died 3 months after she got this. So she spent every moment that she could at the library in the 80s trying to figure out who it was and who owned it and blah, 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 based on all the writing and blah, blah. And she's really selling the story. I mean, really, she's like, and, uh, and the guy's like, well, this Bible, it's missing a couple pages from the front. And he's like, but it's really well restored. I mean, really well restored. Like one of the best restored things I've ever seen. And he's going through the pages, and she's like, well, here's the deal though, it's a Boone family Bible. And he's kind of snaps into it, and he's like, oh really? He's like, Daniel Boone? And he's like, well, yeah. And so she showed him like the research and how we figured out it was the cousin and blah blah blah. And he's like looking at it, and he's like, wow, this is really well preserved. It's amazing. Like you never see work like this anymore. And he's just he talked. I mean, the two people he talked to before us, he talked to him for about 2 minutes. He talked to us for about 15 minutes.
Nice.
And,
Okay.
and he's just like, it's man, like, and I could just see his brain like kind of processing it. I'm like, and he's like, well, he's like, it's probably worth. He's like, if it's just a what do you say? Like an English Bible. He's like, they're around. Some are in good shape, some are not. They're about $300-$500. He's like, this one with the family thing and all this stuff. He's like 1,000-1,500, and he's like, it's just so beautiful. He's like, but it's not close enough to Daniel Boone. He's like, if it was
Okay.
closer to Daniel Boone, I would have you on camera in a second, and he's like, but it's just not.
It's Squire. It's Squire Boone. Yeah.
Squire Boone, yeah.
Yeah.
Fun name.
Freaking
Right?
Squire.
I like
Anyway,
that.
so and then so he kind of warmed up to us after a while. I mean, they're busy all the time, right?
Oh, I'm
Like
sure.
they're just like like
Yeah.
they don't you don't get a lot of like. I mean, they have a job to do, and they're like, okay, this is what this is. This is what this is.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I asked the question about sort of pre-qualified, because I'm sure they just see shit like
Well, it's
all the time that they have to be like not a dick about, which is the hardest thing in the world to do.
well, we actually
Yeah.
a couple of days before the show, after our previous show podcast, I got an email saying, "Look, if you contact, I think I might talk about this last week. If you contact any experts from our show about what
You
you
did
want to
say
do, yeah."
that. Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
sure that is exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah.
Oh,
by the
right.
way, because if you bring in something, these guys are all auctioneers, right? So like,
Oh, sure. Yeah.
you can't contact them before, but they'll give you their card and they'll be like, if you want to sell this, reach out to me and we'll put it in an auction house and blah blah. And so, I'm an expert in this, so I have the best clients, blah blah.
Sure.
So anyway, he was like, like whatever. So now I wore the blue leisure suit the whole day, which is what I used to
Which
wear in
is
Bring Back
very
Hill.
nice, by the way. I'm sure we'll include it in the photos because
It will
Uh,
be included.
that
Thank
was
you,
that was
Beth. You sent many pictures.
how did you find that? Where does one go to? Like you found it? Like
that was my grandpa's leisure suit.
oh, that was your grandpa's leisure
Yeah,
suit.
all of
Oh,
my leisure suits were from
oh
my
wow.
dad's dad, and the reason I could wear them because he was a portly gentleman. Most leisure suits, if you go and try to find portly gentlemen, thank you. You're
That was
welcome,
a good
Grandpa.
yeah.
Um, but and because like he had 6 of them, and I found them
Wow.
before I went to Florida, and that was how I started wearing them in Bring Back Joel. But anyway, that's the most iconic one. It also is the toughest one because it's straight up made of plastic, basically.
Yeah.
And so like I loved it because I could wash it, and in the spin cycle in the washer, it would dry itself before I didn't even put it in the dryer. Polyester, it's fucking genius. We
Oh
should have never
man.
given up on it.
We
And she
really shouldn't have,
and
yeah.
Beth was like, "Aren't you hot?" And I'm like, "No, it's fucking like no, not at all." Like,
Yeah.
like but anyway, and he was like, so he's like, "I'm sorry, I can't." And he was like, "What's up with the suit?" And I'm like, "Well," he's like, "Is that vintage?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it is." And Beth's like, "It was grandfather's." And he's like, "That's awesome." And I was like, "Well, he's like, why did you wear it?" And I'm like, "Well, if I was on camera, I was in Spin, it was going to be like a silent shout out to these people that may have ever seen me in the show." And he's like, "I would wear that suit every time I played rock and roll." And I'm like, "Oh, thanks, buddy." You know? Uh, and then right before that,
That's cute.
there's a guy named Nick Lowry, as I mentioned, and he does posters. And I went over it to him before we even got talked to the book guy, and he was talking to one of the crew people, and I was obviously standing there waiting to talk to him, and he did not look up at me, like he was just like whatever.
He could tell, Tice.
That
He was
I
like,
was,
here we go.
yeah,
He's
and I had
fucking
a poster
poster
thing,
head. Yeah.
and I was like, oh, like, hey, I just wanted to kind of say hi. I'm a big fan. I collect posters, and I was like, but they told me that this is a collectible, and he's like, oh yeah, yeah. If it's a collectible, it could be worth a lot more money than a poster. And I'm like, okay. And I was like, well, like I was maybe if I come back, like it'd be cool if we could get a picture together. I was hoping we'd be on a segment together because I wear this suit, because game represents game, and and he, and if you don't know this guy, he always wears a tartan suit, like a different one every time. Like
Oh,
so,
okay.
he
Yeah.
and so and he go and he looked and he kind of looked at me. He's like, "Yeah, you look like a 1950. You look like my 1950s dentist or something." And I was like, and he goes, "Yeah, I noticed you right away." And I'm like, "Oh, that's a dig." And I was like, well, if you wouldn't mind, maybe I'd like to get a
Never meet your heroes
yeah,
is
Yep.
maybe
like
Yep.
ringing in my head
like.
right now.
Yep.
And it was like he's like, well, I was like, well, maybe if I come over, Beth, my wife, could get a selfie. And he's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And so I left. But thankfully, Beth was just taking pictures of me talking to him, which is enough, like enough for me. I still think he's my favorite guy, even though he's obviously not very social. But it didn't matter. It was still cool to see him. And then so after the Bible, we went to do the jewelry and the watch, the same line. Best jewel was worth. It's an antique cut diamond from the 1850s or so, somewhere in the mid-century, and
Mhm.
it's not the diamond sucks, but the cut is interesting because they don't cut them like that. It's a barrel cut,
Sure. Yeah.
and they wouldn't do that anymore because you would cut that up into little pieces and do the thing. So he was like, look, if these are very popular. Basically, he's like, if you wanted to replace it, it'd be $1,000. You could sell this one for 5, and blah blah blah. And that's like, I don't care. Anyway, so standing in line to see the watch guy. Now, for some reason, the watch line was one of the longest, and it shouldn't have been. but the guy that was supposed to be working with the watch guy was gone the whole time. There was just one watch guy, so the line was pretty long, and or it was just slow. It wasn't long, but it was slow. And he's like, you can tell he's pissed off because his buddy's not there and helping him out. Like he's got this,
He's looking at his watch.
yeah, he's like grimacing. He's looking around. He's like, where the fuck is Joe
Where
or
the fuck
whatever?
is this guy?
Yeah.
Every piece he sees reminds him of how late his
Oh yeah, yep.
And so anyway, like I finally get there, and Beth was sitting at like a picnic table, and I was like, come up here and take a picture or whatever, and and I handed it to him, and he just smiles and he looks up and he goes, "This is it. This is the watch that I took that my mom gave me. It was and it was supposed to be. It's called a 21 jewel watch, and it was what they gave people that worked on the railroad, to run the stuff, keep things on time." And he just smiles and he looks up and he goes, "This in the business is what we call a fake." And I was like, and I was like, really? Well, he seemed so happy about it. It was really endearing, actually. And he goes, yeah. The thing is, about these is that they were originally Swiss, but another Swiss knockoff company started making them, and people started buying. I was like, well. I was like, I knew it might be a Swiss fake, based on my internet stuff, and I kind of was laughing about it. And I say, but here's the thing, and I opened the back, and it on the inside of the back it says T or AT Santa Fe in all abbreviations, and I said, well, he worked for the Santa Fe Railroad in Atchison,
Right.
so I mean it's obviously. He's like, yeah, but here's the deal. And he showed me, he's like, you see this pendulum? And he showed me how it worked on the inside. He's like, that's broken. He's like, and these watches were so cheap that they didn't even make replacement parts. So they would just buy him another one.
Oh,
and
shit.
And he's like, in the gold, he's like, it's mostly brass with just a little bit of gold on the outside. And he, and he, so he's like, "Is the chain gold?" I was like, "I don't know. We don't come from money, so probably not." And he's like, "Let me take a look." And he's like, "No, it's not." And I said, "I'm not surprised." And and then I was like, it's funny because my mom took this to a jeweler, and they offered to buy it, and he perked up, and he's like, "Really?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, and then Beth's like, "Well, it was in Western Kansas, so they probably didn't know what they were looking at," and which is totally fair. And
that is.
It is fair.
he goes,
It's a good point.
he goes, how much did you get offered for it? And I'm like, I don't know. I wasn't there. And he goes, listen, if she takes it back there and he puts $100 bill on the thing, tell her to take it and run.
Nice.
And then he laughed, and then I was like, that's awesome. Okay, so that's great. And then I went to take my Mant poster to the collectibles line, which was by far the longest line, because collectibles is like, we don't know what this is.
Pretty open-ended.
Yeah, it's like, this is everything else. We don't know what to do with it. And so, and I must say that like every time we talked to somebody that was working there, they were either a PBS volunteer because they gave money to do the show. They either worked at the local station, the local radio station. They were part of the actual crew and producers. And so this part of the story is where I figured out actually how American Antiques Roadshow works, as opposed to the English version. So we get there, finally get up there, and the guy's like, "Hold on," his name's Troy, I think, and he's like, "Hold on," I didn't know him from TV, but he's like, "Hold on," and then he's like talking to a producer. He's like, "I found this guy. He's got this suit, right? It doesn't have the right label, but I think we can find the label, and I think we can put it on the thing." And this woman's like, I don't know. We just did that last season, the same suit, suit thing. And the guy's like, yeah, but I mean, this is better than that suit, and blah blah blah. And then another guy comes in, and he's like, I don't know, like he's over there. Why don't you go talk to him? And so she fucks off, and then the guy, he goes, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. What, and he couldn't give a shit about my poster, really, honestly. Like, he kind of does, but not really.
Yeah, damn.
And so he looks
That's
at it. No. I mean, there's a good story explanation, but like, anyway, so like he's looking, he's looking at it. He's taking pictures of it. He's doing Google searches on it. Can't find anything because it's so weird and rare and whatever.
Yeah.
And And then he's like, "Oh, I gotta take this phone call." Phone call. No, no, yeah, no, no, no. I know, no, no. I'll call you. No, no. He hangs up, and he's like, "Asian parents, am I right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, no, that's fine. We get it." And then he starts to look at it again, and then another guy comes over again, and he's like, "Did she buy it? Is she gonna do the thing?" And then that's when I finally figured out that if you get on TV, they get a cut, or they get some level of extra
Okay.
money or extra, time on TV. I don't
There's
know
the incentive.
the
Okay.
incentive to do it, right?
Yeah.
And so the producer comes back and she's like, "We just did this, last season, it's not different." And they're like arguing with her, like politely, but arguing with her. And,
Yeah.
and, then, and like, and she's like, "I don't know." She's real cool. And finally, I think they were a couple, these two guys. And
Okay.
he finally goes, he's like, "She's not going to do it. That's a no from her." And so
Damn.
they come back and so then he's like, "Okay, about your poster." He's like, "I can't find anything about it." And he's like, "Based on what you told me, it was movie prop, and that's why I know, again, another reason, a very cool story how I came into it. They don't care about that. They want to show what's worth money, right?"
Right.
So he goes, "This is what we call in the business a double-edged sword." He's like, "So what this poster is, I think I talked about it previously, but just real fast. There's a movie called Matinee, came out in 1991, 1992, starring John Goodman, directed by Joe Dante. There's a movie within the movie. The movie within the movie is called Mant, and basically, they show a bunch of it in the movie. And
Mhm.
I was at a garage sale in Florida, and I saw it. I knew exactly what it was. It was $10. So I was like, "Yes, I'll take it." Blah blah blah. Finally, Matt was like, "You should frame that because I just had it stuck up against the wall at our house." He's like,
Yeah.
and anyway, so like, he's like, "Here's it's double edged sword." He's like, "Look, uh, there's no." I mean, he's like, "There's no we have no idea how many they made. So it's probably a very small amount, right?" And he's
Yeah.
like, "We have no idea, really what it's worth." He said, "If you could get the actors to sign it, because everybody on the poster has fake names because they're their actor names, So John Goodman's
Right.
on it and a bunch of other people." And he's like, $300 to $500, and then he told me a bunch of stuff about how to preserve it, put it on linen, and, they can fix up the stuff. He's like, "What I would do is I would just go and try to get any of the actors to sign it." Well, half of them are dead, but that's fine. And I was like, "Well, I was going to sell it anyway. It doesn't really matter." And so anyway, so it was fine. It was cool. I was just kind of hoping they would be able to tell me like how many were made, but obviously
Right.
they're using the internet just like we are. That's how they're
Right.
sourcing their stuff, unless they've seen something before. And so anyway, so pack it up, go. So it's about 11:30. We go. So there's a thing at the show called the feedback line, and you stand
Mhm.
at the back. You stand in line and you go, and you try to say something cute, and then maybe you'll get on the show. They put about 7 or 8 at the end of every episode.
Uh-huh.
So that means like 18,000 people, or let's just say half of that, like, like 9,000 people record those. You know,
Sure.
it's a very small chance that you're going to get on TV. And Beth was hot, and I was like, "It's fine. We can go. I was like, "Maybe the suit, She's like, "Have you thought of anything clever to say?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I have, but, And so anyway, we were standing in line, and there's this woman behind us, and she was with this dude, and they were like, "Oh," she's like, "The feedback line," and so they got a line behind us, and she was like, "What is the feedback line?" She's like, "Oh, you say you had a great time, everybody was really nice, your stuff isn't worth anything, but you had a great time." And the lady standing in the line was like, "Yep, that's exactly what this line is." And so anyway, so we just left, and then we went and ate Bosnia Herzegovinic food for lunch,
Ooh.
which was quite
Wow.
good.
Wow.
Very
Um,
nice.
yeah. So anyway, that was the whole deal. But logistically, to see how they did it, it was fascinating.
Yeah.
And
Now
in
I'm
between,
That's pretty neat.
and all around, like, and all they had 4 different filming locations that were basically just in the middle of everything, and
Uh-huh.
they would just have cameras and like little shades, and all the kind of stuff they do. So it was very cool. I would do it again. I mean, the furthest people we met drove up from Louisiana.
Oh,
Um,
wow. Okay.
we met people from Kentucky, Texas, Oklahoma. So like people are into
That's
it.
fun.
Yeah, it was really fun, and everybody's really nice. And actually, at the Bosnia Herzegovina, we ran into two people we talked to in line at length coming into the restaurant as we were leaving. So that was
nice.
weird. But anyway, highly recommend it. Don't expect to be on TV or make any money or anything like that. Although Beth, $2,000.
Lower your expectations.
Yeah, well, I mean, but that's the thing. Like, like everybody was just like, I don't know what this is. Like they're just like, like I could be worth something, it could be worth nothing.
Right.
I mean, I did see a guy in front of me in the line, and he had a pocket watch, and I think I heard the guy who looked at my watch say it was worth $150,000.
Holy shit!
Holy fuck! Did he get on?
No.
Did he get on?
No.
Wow.
So like, I mean, just because you have something that was a lot of money, if it's something that's been on the show already, doesn't matter what the story is. If it's interesting, you got a shot.
Because how many seasons have they done now?
Well, in England they've done like 45, and here they've done, I'm going to say 36.
Okay.
So I think they started.
Is each episode a location? Like, will there be one episode from this, or are there several episodes?
Yeah. So what they started doing now is they do 3 episodes at each location.
Okay.
And then they're always at like an outdoor pavilion, farm, whatever. And then they do like a couple things at the end called Junk in the Trunk or Never Seen This Before, which are just kind of leftover stuff that they put in there just to, that they filmed, and they're like, well, let's put it on a thing. So yeah, it was cute. Like these people that we met at that we saw again at the Ethiopian place were like, they're like, I'm fangirling out. I'm like, I'm freaking out. Like that's the girl who's really small but loud, and that's the girl who has the bangs, and and I was too. I was like, oh my god, like, but they're not real celebrities, but they are. They have jobs, but like everybody is just.
Yeah,
they're on TV. Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
I was just thinking about the overlap between we saw Alton Brown a couple weeks ago, and I have to imagine the Venn diagram of Alton Brown fans and Antique Roadshow. We're probably very similar. Oh my god,
very similar.
Yeah.
Have to be. Yeah.
What's awesome about it, aside from the vibe and everybody's excited, and like on the tram, people are like, "Oh, I brought this," like, "What'd you bring?" And then on the tram back, they're like, "Oh, it's just worth it," is that like it's just everybody's happy to be there and happy to stand in line. Nobody's happy to stand in line.
That's true.
That's true.
So it was really a lot of fun, and I highly recommend everyone going. Just trying to get tickets and going if it's close to you, just for the experience, even if you don't have.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've watched an episode, and I've seen almost all of them. That somebody's like, "Oh, I went to a garage sale yesterday because I didn't have a thing to bring, and I brought this," and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's worth $50,000." So like just
it's amazing,
weird shit like that. So
anyway, start going to garage sales again. That's the moral of this story.
We did do some other stuff, but they're in my plug. So I think I've talked a long time about this, but I hope you guys enjoy it. So
I like it.
I'm gonna start watching again.
Story time with Tyson.
I'm gonna donate because they were actually a really good streaming service. If you donate,
they do. It's $5. Yeah, because somebody was like,
donate to PBS, donate to NPR. Come on, let's help each other out, everyone. For fuck's sake, God.
It was kind of the running joke a little bit. It was like, would there even be PBS next year to put the show out? Like, but yeah, no, but I mean, like this $5 a month to get the PBS thing, the downloading thing. The interface is janky as fuck, but I go to it. I go to it all the time.
Yeah,
because there's lots of great stuff on there. So
that's true.
Yeah,
very good.
Well, hell yeah, Tice. Shall we do some headlines?
Yes.
Line of the week.
I don't have a lot. Like I said, I was traveling and whatever, and I'm trying to find a job, so I'm busy. Whatever.
He's got things to do.
I have stuff to do. This is from the Daily Beast. Princeton student newspaper accuses Pete Hedgesmith. I always say Hegseth. Sorry, I always say his name wrong.
Sorry, plagiarism. He does too.
They accuse him of plagiarism. Apparently, let's see if I can find it exactly. His senior thesis submitted in 2003 contained 8 instances of uncredited material, sham paraphrasing, and verbatim copying, according to the review, conducted by 3 plagiarism experts. So, thank you, ChatGPT, for being able to make journalism so much easier. Anyway, I'm sure he doesn't give a shit. He's on his fourth wife. Let's see what else. I just saw this one today. It made me laugh because of the quote. This is from Rolling Stone. Daryl Hall says he never understood yacht rock, calls the pseudo genre a joke.
Ooh,
Here's
fighting
the,
words.
here's the quote. First of all, yacht rock was a fucking joke by two jerk offs in California, and suddenly it became a genre.
Damn, bro.
Yeah.
Tell us how you really feel.
I loved it. Two jerk offs. I don't know who he's talking about. I don't know which jerk offs he's talking about, but
I'm assuming it's Steely Dan, and
Probably.
I don't know who somebody in because they
I
were
haven't watched
kind
that
of
documentary yet.
oh, it's so good. It's so good. I wonder if that's
Yeah.
who was this that made the comment about it?
Daryl Hall. From
Oh,
Hall and
Daryl
Oates.
Hall. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He goes on to talk about how he thinks of people. He's like, he basically says, "Look, it's just soft R&B, like he's like, so and then they kind of put us in that thing, and they,
Kind of.
Yeah,
Not
that
really.
makes
I don't
sense.
know.
Yeah, I mean,
I,
I think you can slot them in pretty easily into that job. Mostly,
yeah,
I mentioned this to my wife, but it's only like the term only originated in like the early 2000s of yacht rock. Like somebody just came
Really?
up, yeah, yeah. So
Wow.
somebody,
I thought that was
sort of a
before.
post.
But,
I did
all
too.
right.
I thought yacht rock had always been with us.
no, I
It
didn't.
has.
I didn't.
We
I
just
didn't know
didn't
when
know
it came
what
from.
it
I
was.
knew it wasn't a genre before I worked in radio. I knew that,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
but the
It was just KJLS's format. I
yeah,
think.
basically, yeah. And then on Sirius XM, they always have a yacht rock station for the summer, and whatever.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And this is my final one. Like I said, I don't have a lot. This is from The Verge. Grok, which is Elon Musk's AI platform. Grok, Grok, really wanted people to know that claims of white genocide in South Africa are highly contentious. Grok kept bringing it up in responses to seemingly unrelated posts.
Ooh.
Okay.
Have you guys done anything with Grok, by the way? I tried and I just got over
I
it
you know
immediately.
like there are so many AI solutions out there right now that I'm like I can make life easier and not care about one of them, and that's going to be Elon Musk's AI.
That's
And
what
so
I
yeah,
said to my friend
that's the
Chris because he
easiest.
uses it, and
Yeah,
I was just like, "Bro, I'm not. I'm gonna do Chat GPT on my phone and all
yeah.
the other stuff on
I
my
mean, they're
laptop.
all evil, but like I just
All of it. Yeah,
I just
totally.
hate Elon with that extra little and yeah. That little that I'm like, I'm not going to give you $25 a month.
Well,
Yeah, no thanks.
I saw I downloaded my phone. I didn't know it was Elon Musk's version. I just saw this thing and it said I got all these tech emails and it was like there's a Grok, for your iPhone. It was like seems to be the AI without borders, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that's fine. And the reason I downloaded it is because I play D&D every couple weeks with some friends of ours, and the Austin Roberts, who is the DM, uses AI to try to make photos of dragons, and he said it's impossible to get a good dragon that's based on like because I guess D&D has different types of dragons and other as opposed to like other mythical. Anyway, so I downloaded it. And I was like, let's see if I can make some dragons, and they were whatever. It's not great, but anyway, and then I found out it was his, so I deleted it off my phone. Anyway,
Good man.
yeah, I'm not sports.
Ty, speaking of D&D, did you know that Brian Posehn has a podcast where he just plays D&D with a bunch of his comedian
Oh,
friends?
that's cool.
I was not, but I have watched many of those type things. Dan Harmon did
He
one.
was on what was it, David Cross's podcast, Since Is Working Overtime, and David was like, "You fucking nerd, of course you do."
Well, there was a very famously before they were all famous. Brian Posehn, Patton Oswalt, Chris Hardwick, and a couple other guys had a weekly D&D game before they were
No
all famous.
shit.
Yeah, and it was kind of a thing that they did, like because
Yeah.
they're all old school nerds. There is a show called Harmon Quest. It's kind of hard to find, but it's Dan Harmon, and
Yeah.
he
Oh
and
yeah, oh yeah.
and he is playing. He's not the gay. He's not the DM, but what they do is they sit around a table. They have a guest every week, play a character, and then they animate it. So they actually
Oh,
there's
I
like
have heard of this. Yes.
it's a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah, yeah.
There's 2 seasons of it. It's a lot of fun. And so anyway, So check out this thread to get an idea of what was going on with this Grok AI thing. One person posted a video of a cat in a sink reacting to droplets from a faucet. New York Times tech reporter Mike Isaac tagged Grok and asked, "Is this true?" Here's Grok's reply. The claim of white genocide in South Africa is highly contentious and lacks credible evidence.
Holy fucking shit.
Official data shows farm attacks are part of general crime, not racially targeted. Only 12 farm deaths in 2024 out of thousands of murders in 2025. Court ruling dismissed the claim as not real. While some cite "kill the Boer" as evidence, I don't know what that means, courts have ruled it protected speech, not hate. It couldn't find reputable sources supporting the claim, only fringe voices. The topic is sensitive and fears deserves empathy, but evidence suggests it's a myth, not reality. And then this goes on to people who are like, I put a thing on here about a picture of SpongeBob, and that came up. Like,
oh wow,
yeah,
okay.
like I mean, just all this stuff. So I was like, well, come on, you're playing your card a little too close to to the hand, Elon, you dumb fuck. His family made all their money from like blood diamonds and shit.
They did, yeah.
Yeah, they did.
It's awful people.
Yeah.
Anyway, those are my headlines. Next.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Smith, what do you have? What's in Hopper?
Yeah, also I don't have a lot, but because a lot of crazy shit happened. But Trump got a plane from I didn't have a headline about that.
Yeah, I mean that was
everybody. Yeah,
Dave,
they're all buying his fucking cryptocurrency, which is breaking my heart. As far as
yes, they are. Yep.
Dipshits. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I mean, to be fair, we might make some money off that on the back end, but that's still fucked up.
Yeah.
It's a sad future that we all face, and honestly, I'm hoping for 5 good years. That's all I'm hoping for. Not actually really kidding that much. In happier news, actually, this is a good segue for this. My first, this is from wapgoal.com, which apparently is a funny news, a kind of interesting news about animals website. And says, if humans die out, octopuses may have the skills to build the next civilization, science claims. And I kind of buy that. They talk about how obviously the ocean is 73% of the planet, and apparently they can live really deep in the ocean, and they're infinitely adaptable. And so after we're all gone, there's just going to be a bunch of octopi running around, and I think that's fine. I think that's okay.
I'm down. I love octopus. Octopi.
Octopi.
I like them. I would push for the squid, but the octopi are clearly smarter.
They're adjacent. I would say they would probably hang out.
I feel like it would be a lower class, but not so much a lower class that they would enslave.
Just because they're too common.
Yeah, I feel like a cephalopod, they're buddies,
right.
Yeah.
But fuck those bass, right?
That's true.
Those bass.
I kind of have a dream for you. Maybe the giant squid will become so prevalent that in this octopi future that they serve it as a dish.
Actually, they could be the Death Star of the octopi, to be fair.
That would actually be really cool. This is a future I can get behind.
Me too, actually.
I want you both to write some fan fiction about this actually playing out.
It'll
please.
Just turn into.
And thank you.
It'll just turn. It'll just turn.
This.
Yeah, it'll just turn into tentacle porn. You don't want that. You don't. Want
I know, especially if Tyson's involved. Sorry. Smith will keep it classy. Tyson will go there.
Can I tell you this terrible story real fast?
Only if it has to do with tentacle porn.
It does.
Okay.
What? Oh my fucking god! Of course, Tyson.
It's not Edward Stevens' hands, is it again?
No, it's a Hayes-related story. It's a Hayes-related story. So, when I was in high school, there was this thing, and I was learning about anime, and we didn't have TV shows that showed TV stations that showed anime, right? When we were growing up, right? It just wasn't a thing in Western Kansas, and even the reruns,
like that Aeon Flux on MTV.
That was what we had.
Watch the shit out of that,
which was made by Americans, right? So like, so anyway,
Damn right.
I had heard about this movie. I cannot remember. I cannot remember the name of the movie. I cannot remember the name of the movie, but it was the third in the series, and it was like, this is the most over the top animated show of all time, and I'm like, oh shit, okay, that's fucking cool, huh? You know. And so I had Gary at GB Records
Oh
order
yeah.
it for me,
Oh yeah.
Yes.
and,
Gary.
Ah,
Fuck
Gary.
yeah.
and I got it when I was a freshman in college, living in the dorms. Now my weird roommate, bless his heart, dear friend of mine, was dating a girl that was quite a bit younger than him. And she
Uh-huh.
was, I think she was a sophomore, and he was a freshman in college. And because they started dating, you know, as you do, all freshmen girls date senior boys for some reason. It's a rite of passage. I don't really understand it.
Or guys in college.
Or guys,
Shout out to myself.
no, not an option in Waukene, but you know. Anyway, so uh, he was at
Ugh.
class.
So
I got,
dumb sometimes.
I got,
Sorry.
all right, I got the tape. And I was like, I got this tape. It's a cartoon. It's from Japan. You want to watch it? She's like, yeah, sure. It was the most graphic
Of course
tentacle
it was.
porn. The opening
Gross.
scene has this girl going down on the guy while he's driving. He hits the brakes. She bites his dick off. I mean, and I'm like, and then it just gets crazier from there. And I'm like, I just look over and she's like 15, and I'm like, I'm gonna stop this tape. I was like, I, I never even finished
You're gonna get
watching.
arrested
Yeah, I never
if
even
this
finished.
continues.
I never
Yeah.
even finished watching the movie. I was like, this. I thought it would be like crazy, you know, like you know, something crazy. And I was like, no,
Wow.
this is crazy, as in like, you know, like Japanese people are weird and
Yeah.
creepy, you
Yeah.
know, like.
I love them.
Anyway, that's sorry. I just thought I'd get that off my chest before I meet my
No,
maker,
I'm
before I
glad you
die.
did. Yeah.
Glad you could do that, Tyson. Jesus Christ.
No, I had a flashback of a different strokes episode where the bike man
The
shows
bike
Arnold
man.
a dirty. The bike man shows Arnold a dirty cartoon. Ah, great episode. Moving on. This comes from Denver 7, ABC affiliate
Uh-huh.
in
Uh-huh.
Denver. Man accused
Big
of
fan.
leaving child to die in hot car gets family vacation approved by court. So apparently,
God.
yeah. So the remainder of the family apparently wants to go to Hawaii, and they're going. So
But I paid for it.
Wow.
yeah, that's a non-reflective. Probably one of those Costco vacations. I'm guessing. Right back
Yeah,
when
it's gotta
Costco
be.
vacations.
Costco's such a big damn
It's
deal
like,
here.
I already bought it. It's like, well, just roll the windows
Oh, let
down.
him go.
Try
Yeah.
to keep the windows down and the children unbathed.
Sucked out
Yeah,
of the plane.
man, that is really sad. Like who?
That-
Like,
It is super sad.
yeah,
But you know,
yeah.
it's a fine farewell to their father. You know, like in a
It
proper
is.
way.
It's a
guess
good
that's
send-off.
true. Yeah, I guess that's true. Wow, he faces charges of first-degree murder and child. Yeah. So
I want.
Good God.
I want.
they
Next time
proved
I have an issue, I want to go to that court. That's-
it. Exactly.
Note to
Like,
self.
not really a biggie, but I may have shown some tentacle porn to a 15-year-old. I don't know what
Oh
the
my God.
statute
I
of
cannot
limitations
wait to
is.
play Never Have I Ever with Tyson and a bunch of random people and bring that up.
Oh, that is fucking funny. Well, we will. Well, yeah, we will do that.
People slowly do the Homer Simpson out of the room. It's
Yes.
like,
And sadly, my last headline: Rump customer upset with missing tea in Trump branded watch that cost $640. So, this gentleman from Rhode Island, he bought his wife, his thoughtful gentleman, as a gift. He brought a total Trump branded watch.
I saw
This
that.
looks like the cheapest piece of shit I've ever seen, and it's pink. Like it is god
a
awful.
rump watch.
It's on the
Fuck
level.
yeah.
It's on the level of the My Pillow cross. Like
Yes,
I've seen
this actually would be like the best thing to bring to a PBS sponsored American, Antiques
I was just
Roadshow.
thinking that, Smith.
Yeah,
How
yeah,
fucking
like-
funny would that
like,
be?
That would be hilarious.
it. If I could buy one for the tacky wang, I would. I literally would.
It is. It's $640.
I know, it's too much.
Limited
What
edition.
a
I'm guessing
joke.
they're gone. But Kim Petite, Rhode Island resident, said, I thought it was really nice. It was beautiful, and I knew it would be something that she would like, which says a lot about Tim and his wife. Pete bought the watch after hearing a radio ad, and he said, with the president's voice, I was curious. So I went on the website, and he bought it. GetTrumpWatches.com, for all of you unfamiliar. And it was he picked out the pink inauguration First Lady model for his wife, which is...
what a guy.
What a guy. What a guy. And here's my favorite quote. He says, Melanie Petite says she liked the style, but it's what the watch was missing. The T in Trump that makes it stand out. I noticed it right
Amazing.
away. The T is missing, which I'm guessing.
Perfect.
Yeah. So the Petites are wondering why a watch with such glaring error so had to be shipped out because it's made in China. How could they process this and go something without checking their work? I'm very disappointed. The Petite family, just fucking wait. All the disappointment in the world awaits for you.
All of it. So much coming your way.
Happy to report the GetTrumpWatches.com. No, actually, I believe .net would have been a little more appropriate, but apparently they did offer. They gave him an $800 gift card, so they got to keep the watch
and get another rump.
The rump watch. They got to get something with his name correctly printed.
Good.
Yeah. I'm glad things worked out for the Petite.
It's a great story. That's a good.
That's
a heartwarming.
It was a good story. Everyone wound up winning in the end, especially our president, who's licensing shit.
Just fucking raking it in.
It really is. I don't know.
That is oddly enough, he lifted tariffs on watches coming from China. Oh, that's great.
Cool. I don't know. I'm going to leave with this. All I'm saying is that of all the countries that he could have accepted a plane from, I'm glad it was from the Middle East. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
They got a certain history. And I'm hoping that,
Yep. Just leave it at that.
We'll just leave it at that because they're all listening.
All of them.
Exactly. Can we just talk about how that country is pronounced? I think it's so funny.
I don't think it's fair. Qatar.
Qatar, right? Yeah. It's
Qatar,
Qatar. Qatar.
Qatar.
Qatar.
No, I don't see it.
Oh, maybe I'm wrong.
No. That's right. I'm just saying Qatar. I don't see Qatar.
Yeah, I don't see it either. But
I don't either.
I was also reminded how Turkey is spelling their name now, with a T-U-I.
Yes, that's right.
I think that's kind of entertaining as well. It's
it caused a lot of confusion for a lot of people.
A little bit.
It did,
but Georgia also causes a lot of confusion.
Oh, they're confused a lot.
Which one? Georgia and Russia or Georgia?
Okay.
Nice work, Matt.
Nice work, Smith.
Thank you. I had to pull that together because it was kind of a slow news week.
It was. I mean, there was depressing stuff, but it was kind of slow.
There was.
We changed.
Got to find the humor in it.
When we changed tariffs again, and the fucking stock market is the stupidest.
It is.
I can't.
Oh my god, they're so stupid. They're like, oh, he lifted the.
They're not even real deal.
Money under your mattress.
Yeah, yes.
Or in weed.
Yeah, for real. I'm thinking about it. There's a lot I'm thinking about. Where am I going to live internationally? That's top of mind a lot.
What are we going to do for work?
Yeah, exactly.
It's all right.
I've got a couple of headlines. This first one is from Mashable. Max is changing its name back to HBO Max.
Oh my god.
What a fucking nightmare.
What an amazingly stupid decision.
Yeah.
Hey, let's take our whole organization and rename it after the sort of second tier, low rate late night porn channel.
Yeah, I mean, we built this brand for 40 years, 50 years.
Oh my god!
Let's get rid of it. And then let's just keep going back to what our original branding was, which was fine.
Level. I was like, HBO,
lots of people did.
Get rid of
a lot
HBO.
Of people. It's ridiculous what they did.
Oh my god! Yes,
they've rebranded every 6 months for the past 2 years. That in and of itself is a giant no-no.
I got an email
in general.
sure
That's
that's
funny because
true.
I got like a clarification email because I'm a subscriber, as is by like I don't know 50 million Americans, and now they're just like sort of like a whoops, we did it again.
Well,
Like
they're doing like tongue-in-cheek shit on social
right,
media about it, and I'm just like,
exactly. That's what your
we're
creative.
still gonna make fun of you. We're
That's
still
what
gonna blast the
that's what
shit
your
out of you.
creatives do is like just come up
Yeah.
with funny shit based on your executives' fucking terrible decisions. So anyway, yeah,
I
that's
hope they
awesome.
leave it alone, but I'm also willing to bet that they might change it again
They might.
within the next year.
They might change it to like I wonder because it originally stood for home box office.
It
They
did.
might try to
Yes.
like redo a sort of a TLC thing where it's like the learning channel. I don't know what does TLC stand for now.
Well, just TLC.
I don't know.
It doesn't stand for anything.
It doesn't
TLC.
stand for
It's like
anything now?
MTV.
Okay.
Yeah, because
MTV stands
nobody's
for
learning
nothing. It
shit.
stands for
Yeah,
MTV.
yeah, no, that's right. Yeah, so I don't know.
Maybe they'll
Just go with what you know. Like ESPN is launching their streaming service.
They are.
What are
Yeah.
they calling it? ESPN.
ESPN, yes.
Fucking just go.
It makes it simple.
Yeah, it does.
I'm gonna pitch something just for 6 months down the road. H-backs. H-backs. Check out the H-backs. I like it. It's got legs. I think we can move it with this.
H-backs.
H-backs. It sounds like
I
something.
like this.
It sounds like something you would get, and you'd have to get a fucking,
I like that.
like you'd have to get a shot if you got the H.
You'd have to get a shot. It does sound like
The
something you would
HVAC.
have to get a shot
Yes.
for. I'm willing to make bets. That's actually a good segue into my next headline because there's a funny story attached to it. This is from Fox Sports. Rockies are the worst team in the MLB history through 42 games, and it can get worse. So, Jonas and I went to the Rockies Padres game here at Coors Field on Saturday. We like to go to baseball games. It's
Yeah.
super fun in the summer when the weather's getting warmer. It's just the best. It's super. We love it. We weren't expecting a lot. We were like in the nosebleed section. Like it was a beautiful day. Who gives a shit? And the game started. Padres are up 5 runs. I look at Jonas and I go, I bet you $20 that the Padres will beat the Rockies by 20 points. And he's like, there's no fucking way. Game on. Fucking happened. They beat him by 21 points.
Holy shit.
Wow.
It's ridiculous, you guys, how bad they are. Honestly, there's this Fox Sports article, which I think people should read. But also they should just go on the internet, go down the TikTok rabbit hole because it's so fucking goddamn funny how bad the Rockies are. Like they fired their GM 2 days after this loss.
Wow.
Rockies won on Sunday against the Padres, but then they just keep losing. They're like 7-35.
Did they score
That's insane.
Did they score any points at that game at all? The Rockies?
0.
Yeah, okay.
It was 21-0, Tyson.
Oh.
Yeah.
Awful.
Yeah, that's bad.
And I've gone to Rockies games before. Like there was a Harry Potter night there last summer, and the fucking Rockies fans were booing the Rockies, and they were playing the Minnesota Twins.
Yeah.
That is still one of the funniest fucking things I've ever seen in my life. The pitcher, and I'll post a video with our social media stuff tomorrow when we post the show. I tell you what, Jonas was a little bit lit, but he could not get over the fact that like the pitcher was throwing 60 mile per hour fucking pitches. He was just done.
Yeah.
He did not give a shit.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was bad.
That's
It
a bad
was
sign.
really
They
bad.
are. Yeah, I just found that article, and they are 7-35.
7-35.
That's like
insanely
old
bad.
school Royals level of that.
Really is.
That's worse
Really
than
is.
old school Royals. Tyson. They have seeded the fucking Royals in every other shitty game,
Oh
baseball
my
team.
god.
Wow.
Yeah, it's bad. It's
Wow.
bad. So anyway, this is a PSA for the Rockies. Get your shit together.
But that's kind of. But that is. I mean, they need to use this to their advantage. If
They
I
should.
were them, they should embrace how much they suck, and like sell T-shirts and
I agree.
Because what did he pay
Yeah.
for tickets? Like $25? Please.
It was
tell
like
me.
$22.
Nice.
It was
There you go.
fantastic.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
I would go.
What's
I
a beer
would-
cost? Like 27.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's fair. Yeah. But I mean, I would go. I mean,
No comment. We
Yeah.
spent way too much money on the fucking and the mediocre nachos, and it's just
Oh,
all bad. All
I
bad.
love that food. I love it. It's great.
last time I was at the Royals,
Ballpark nachos are excellent, by
Oh,
the way.
God,
can't-
That
they-
should be a plug this
You
week.
got the jalapenos. They just dump
Yeah, you bet you.
oh,
You bet you,
that's-
sir. Yep.
oh,
Yep.
delicious.
last time we went to
Yep.
the Royals, they foofed up their
Strangely, I
Make
knew
it a
what you
little
meant.
fancy.
yeah, it was a little too fancy. Like the nachos were like, okay, well, it'd be great if it had some cheese and shit on it. I mean, it did, but it was just like they had like bird ends on it, and I was like, oh, that sounds amazing, and it was.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It also cost like $55 or whatever, but like it's
Oh,
ballpark
it's ridiculous.
park prices.
Yeah.
Right?
I know. Yeah.
You pay more for the parking than you do for the tickets.
Yeah.
Come on in.
Come on in. Enjoy yourselves.
Will you be going to future games? 'Cause
I
hope
would.
so.
I
I
would.
would too. Absolutely.
Hands down, hell yeah.
Oh,
I can't
absolutely,
wait. I
absolutely.
can't wait to go to the next game and watch them, screw up royally
That
again.
is
So
almost like better than like. I mean, it actually no. Fuck that. It's way better than like kind of a mediocre sort of like.
Oh yeah.
You're the worst. You're the worst.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm with you. Embrace it. Embrace it, guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
For the rest of the season, because there's no way they can fucking turn things around. I do think they need to work towards turning it around. But this season, embrace that you're so fucking shitty.
Not as long as they're selling $27 beers, you just fucking keep doing it. Who gives a shit?
I'm sorry, but
Entertainment.
I just have to
It's like-
say, this is the
like the-
closest I've ever felt to you about my love for B movies. Is listening to you guys talk about this. Like you're wholeheartedly endorsing something that is terrible and loving it.
You know what? I think that you guys should plan to come here this summer, and we can all go to a home
I
game
would love
together.
that.
Well, let's go to a
Yeah,
double header. It would be
We can
hilarious.
make fucking
Oh, yeah.
t-shirts
Oh,
with our
God.
own fucking Rockies suck sayings. Like it would be super fun.
All right, I'll get a new credit card and we can totally do that. Oh, that'd be I love it. I love it. This is great.
Oh.
This is death. I love the idea. I love it.
Yeah.
I do.
What was like the basketball
I'm
team that played against the Harlem Globetrotters?
Oh yeah,
Like, it was their job.
the Washington Generals. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. They're now the Washington Generals of baseball, which is awesome. I like it. I like it because look, everyone leaves happy, right? Like
Yeah.
you go,
Everyone
knowing you're
does.
gonna lose.
And I tell you what, that stadium was pretty packed. I mean, people were just like could not
I was gonna
get over the fact that they were losing that badly. I mean, we did leave early.
Yeah, well, yeah. Beat the
We didn't
traffic.
see the last run of the
I
fucking
love
Padres.
what I want to hear more than anything is like the friendly, like commentators, like sort of talking about.
Yeah,
the
how
game.
do you
Like,
spin that?
don't
Right?
know.
Well,
Like,
nobody does.
holy fucking shit.
I mean, I used to work those Royals games where like on the
Oh,
radio
God.
where they
yeah,
were
that's
so
right.
terrible. They were
That sucks too.
and
Tyson,
they don't spin
being a
it.
fan.
They're
Yeah.
just like I remember one time I listened to these guys talk about there was a little hill in the out in the like left field at some ballpark they were at, and they're like, oh, it's like it's like the Kennedy assassination, it's like that little mound, like the where the I mean they don't the game is actively happening, nothing is happening in the game, and they're just, I mean, they don't sugarcoat it, they're just like fuck it, like whatever,
Fuck it. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
the way it is. Yeah.
like,
Yeah. It's well, TBD. There's plenty more season left, so
Right, all
giddy
right,
up,
all right,
everyone.
let's look at
Yeah.
our calendars.
I think
for real.
that is something we definitely should do.
Absolutely, it's a hell of a lot
It'll be
cheaper than going
super
to Red
fun.
Rock.
Yeah.
So let's
Yeah.
do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
The plan,
Awesome.
the plan 9 from baseball.
Love it. We should make
Amazing.
t-shirts.
We will. We'll do it up.
We're
We
here,
really
we're
need
here
to do it up.
lose. I love it. We should like. I think we can make this happen. I think I came to lose. I like it.
I came to lose.
I came to lose. Yeah.
So many ideas.
Oh.
We'll figure it out, and then that'll be a fun
Workshop
show
it
to
a little
report
bit.
on.
But yeah, that would be. We can
Yeah,
do a
I'll
live
dust
remote.
off the
We can do it-
Photoshop
we can
for
do a
sure.
live remote.
Okay, last headline. Last, definitely not least. We've talked about this already. This is from the Hayes Post. Hayes man arrested for allegedly trying to kiss stranger in store. I think the creepiest part about this, and Tyson, I think you Smith brought it up.
I did.
Yes, Tyson, you brought it up. Is that it happened at 7:44 a.m. at a grocery store on Vine Street, aka Dylan's.
Yeah.
Where a 19-year-old woman pushed 49-year-old Carlos J. Johnson away due to his unwanted advances. It's sad. I mean, fuck that guy. Like, don't kiss a stranger. What are you doing? Like, or try to.
No. Especially at
Dylan.
7. Right.
Yeah.
Right. What a weird.
Like, it's very weird.
It is a little weird.
That's weirder than us like dragging Maine back in the day. Weird, you know? Like, you're just gonna go to the fucking grocery store and be like, well, gonna check out that circuit at 7 to 9 a.m.
It's like, hey,
lady.
meet me in the cereal aisle.
I check Hayes Post mostly to like see if I know, it's sort of like not being the main character on Twitter every day.
Right.
It's like, you don't want to be the main character on Hayes Post every day either. Yeah. I like to browse those arrest reports and be like, oh yeah, I knew that dude.
Oh, there is a good one today. I didn't even like put it into my headlines, but there's this guy, I can't remember what he did specifically, but he's got a lazy eye and it's like pointing up and then this eye's going this way and he's got this giant scar on his face and he did some horrendous shit and they were just reporting on the fact that he got arrested. It's just Hayes Post is a lovely, lovely place
it
to
really is.
dive into on a weekly basis and see what you find.
Yeah, it's.
I love it. Keep going.
I actually had a headline from Hayes Post that I didn't read because it doesn't really explain anything. But I will.
Well, they never do. They're never. I don't even like to call them articles. They're not. It's literally Hayes Post. It is a post about some stupid shit.
Yeah. So
it's barely that.
Yeah. But it had to do with Trigo County, and my mom was telling me about it. It's kind of weird, but I'm waiting to find out more about the actual story itself. But when it happens, it's
a developing headline. Nice.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. Right now, I just went to Hayes Post right now to see what chaos ensued, and this is a great headline. So I'm going to read it. Trump Surgeon General pick said mushrooms helped her find love.
Shut up.
Yeah. I wrote in a recent book that people should consider using unproven psychedelic drugs as therapy in a newsletter.
Get out of here. What are the comments like? That's my second favorite part.
I don't Facebook, so I can't.
Oh my God.
But you should look at the comments because that's
she's
awesome.
going to be fired.
Please hold. I got to find
actually
the
RFK Jr. probably won't fire her. He's probably like,
I think they should put mushrooms in the water instead.
They should.
I love it.
They should at least
great idea.
We want the children to find love and be happy. It'll get them off all of this sort of anti-anxiety medication.
Yeah.
All right, guys, wait. I found the post, Smith, that you just brought up. Top comment is from Brett Liker. Who says, booze helped me find all 5 of my wives. Who's to judge? And it's the emoji going like this.
Wow. Sir, we don't offer invitations to the podcast often.
That's true. We don't. But
Brett Liker, if you would like to come on the show.
We are fans.
Do you want me to invite him right now?
Yeah, I think you absolutely should. That was brilliant.
I checked with our producers just because something that Matt said was pretty interesting to me. So this is about the Washington Generals, who have changed their name from the Boston Shamrocks to the New Jersey Reds to the Baltimore Rockets to the Atlantic City Seagulls to the New York Nationals, the International Elite to the Global Select to the World All-Stars. Starting in 1971, they changed their name every year. It's the same team, though.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, figures vary as to exactly how often the Generals have beaten their rivals. Some reports say 6 times, while the team's official website reports having 3 victories over the Globetrotters, one each in 1954, 1958, and 1971. 71 win is the most storied and is sometimes reported as a team sole victory. Playing against the New Jersey Reds, they won 100-99 on January 5th, 1971. In Martin, Tennessee, ending their 2,495 game losing streak. Klutz credits the overtime win to a guard named Eddie Mahar, who was team captain. Harlem's captain, Curly Neal, who was on the
Oh,
was
Oh yeah,
he was on he
yeah.
was on the Scooby Doo. Did not play this game.
That's right, he was. Why do I know that? Because I'm
While
old.
while the Globetrotters were entertaining the crowd that day, they lost track of time and the score. They found themselves down 12 points with 2 minutes left to go, forced to play normal basketball. Globetrotters rallied but could not recover.
Nice.
So,
Wow.
anyway,
that's
a lot. That's a huge losing streak.
Yeah.
2004.
That's a big one.
Yeah. Hashtag goals, Rockies. Like, you got a ways to go. So, but I do believe in you. I believe in you. I believe in you.
Oh, we believe in you, Rockies.
We do.
You can
we
do
do
it.
Okay, I guess the Generals were created in 1952, and then they started changing their name in 1971. So,
Okay.
and they were created solely by the guy who basically saw some money that he could make by having Globetrotters, because the Globetrotters needed a team to play. And they're like, why don't you just take these losers with you? You know, everywhere you go.
I think we'll know the job is done when that team changes their name to the Colorado Rockies.
That's right.
We'll know
You're right.
that it's sort of inferred, classically inferred.
I always think, I don't. Have you noticed that for a while the Globetrotters had a midget on their team? Did you
I did not know that.
No,
I
didn't know that.
And they had a woman. Can you believe that? No,
a woman and a little person.
It was all inclusion. No, they still have women on their team, but
freaking libtards.
Oh, that's great. I love it when we have a podcast and we have a trip come out of it. That's always good.
I do too.
I do too. It's fun. Something to look forward to. We need more of that in the world, you know?
For
and what's so ironic is that we try when we go on these trips to do a podcast, and logistically speaking, doing it in the same room just never works.
Never works.
No.
Because even if we're like in the same place, it's like, well, maybe we should go to a separate room.
Then you kind of lose whatever you're kind of going for. Right. So I think from now on, we just take videos and then we just edit the videos together and post it on.
Yeah. That's a good idea. Yeah.
This makes more sense.
We'll figure it out.
Okay, you want to do plugs?
Plug it up.
Well, first off, let's plug the Washington General. God bless.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So
I went and saw Sinners, which is this Ryan Coogler movie. It is very good. It will probably not get an Oscar nom, but it should. It's very well done.
You don't think so?
I don't know, because it's kind of this. I don't know, because it is a horror movie.
I haven't seen it yet.
It is a horror movie. Yeah. But it's not. But it's so much more than that. It's about Black history. It's about a time period, and it's very well acted, and the cast is amazing, and the music is amazing, because that's a big part of the story, and there's just some weird stuff in it. But if you can see it in the theater just for the soundtrack, I would highly recommend it. And apparently, like, I couldn't see it in IMAX because they only let those movies play in IMAX for so long. But apparently, there's AMC does. This is not going to help anybody in Hayes, but IMC does something called 4K projection shows, and that's kind of like IMAX, except that it's a bigger screen like IMAX, but it's not technically IMAX. So anyway,
okay.
Obviously, Poker Face is back, and it is amazing. Matt plugged this last week.
Very good. It's been very good.
We just watched the third one yesterday, and it is awesome. It has Richard Kind and John Mulaney together in the same episode.
Yeah.
And it is phenomenal.
Say no more. I will watch it tonight. I'm obsessed with those two right now.
Yeah.
Obsessed.
Yeah. Very good. And the boy fighting thing, I can't wait to talk about that. Anyway, the 14-year-old boy fighting thing on.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So
is that really happening?
I think so.
I mean, it is, right?
I think he is. I think they'll wear gloves. Okay. I think they'll wear boxing gloves or something, but I think it is.
How is he going to get away with that, though?
Well, they sign the waiver. I mean, basically, if you sign a waiver and their parents sign a waiver, then...
But they're 14 fucking years old. Like there seems to be some sort of. They have lawyers. They're figuring it out, but
I mean,
so fucking funny.
Yeah. Anyway,
weird.
If you're not caught up on Everybody's Life and with John Mulaney on Netflix,
yes, bring the people into
definitely
the fold.
definitely catch up. Conan O'Brien Must Go. New season came out.
Yes.
Yeah, and we watched one episode, and that was great. I want to say that the newest episode of The Studio is the best so far. It is so awesome. It was like the setup. I was actually getting uncomfortable with the setup, but it's not uncomfortable. It's
Oh, I can't
amazing.
wait to see it.
I'm
Yeah.
talking about the
Okay.
I'm talking about the new studio episode, man.
Oh yes, I love that. If you're not watching that show,
It's amazing.
It's one of the best
It all
shows on television right now.
as Beth said, it
Hands
always
down. Yeah.
delivers. You get these wonderful, like fucking Martin Scorsese single camera shots through the
oh
whole thing.
The whole episode, yeah, is just one shot.
It
It's
is,
crazy.
yeah, and I will say that Bryan Cranston is a standout in this episode because he was on what 2 episodes earlier this season, but he's one of the main characters in this one,
Yeah.
yeah,
and he is very very
He's
Well,
good.
so
he's the money of the studio. His character is,
He's
right?
the
yeah.
he's the
Yeah.
president, or he's the CEO, or he owns the studio. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, it- we would listen to a book on tape on the way down to St. Louis on the way back. Haven't finished it yet, but I feel good enough to plug it. It's called The Bad Popes, and it's
Okay.
a history of popes. We listened to it on Audible. A history of popes, basically from when they started until now. And
Huh.
it sounds boring. I mean, it sounds really boring. It is so intriguing and interesting, and there is so much information. There's no way I would be able to read this book because there's so much information. It's like a fire hose. But to listen to it, it's amazing. You're not hoping to. You're only going to maintain big swaths of stories about how the Pope
Yeah.
did shit back in the day and their relationship with the Emperor of Rome versus being the Pope and all this stuff. But you learn all this stuff and stuff I didn't know, and it is intriguing and interesting. And there's all this death and murder and torture and not just. I mean, and that's the popes. I mean, they're getting tortured, they're getting murdered, they're getting. I mean, it's all
Mm-hmm.
over the place. It's really good. So I highly recommend The Bad Popes. Um, if you read slowly, I think you might really like it. But I would opt for the drive and audiobook, unless you listen to us on your own long drives, and just keep doing that.
That's right.
Shout out to the Drylings
Shout out to
who
the
were listening
Drylings.
to us.
That's right.
I do have to shout them out real quick.
You don't need literature.
Tony reached out and he was like, "Hey, we're headed to Blackhawk to gamble." And listen to the last 2 episodes.
Nice.
They're great.
Awesome.
So thank you all for
Awesome.
being dedicated listeners.
Yes.
We appreciate you.
That's what my parents do too. They wait until they go on the road trip and they listen to the stuff. So
Yeah.
when we were in St. Louis, we hit 2 different museums. We hit this thing called the Museum of Illusions, which
Oh, we have one of those in Denver and haven't
um,
been yet.
it's expensive, but it's super neat because of a few things that you can do, and it's a lot of fun. It's expensive. It's $30 a ticket. I mean, you can get through it in about 50 minutes if you take your time. So it's not a
Yeah.
lot there, but it is really cool. And some of the things are so neat and a lot of photo ops and blah blah blah. I'm surprised Beth didn't send those to you as well.
Oh, actually, I think she might have.
And then this is
Yes.
the other thing. So we went from there and we went to this other thing called the City Museum in St. Louis, and I wanted to go to it. And Beth was like, "Should we go?" Like, why don't we go to the Arch? I'm like, I don't know. I just kind of want to see this thing. Anyway, so the City Museum in St. Louis is what I would call a combination of the Garden of Eden in Lucas, Kansas, and Casa Bonita.
Oh,
Hmm.
what?
Yeah, it is fucking out there. It's like avant-garde, locally sourced art slash industry turned into like weird, climbable, explorable things, um, and then and then also like just weird shit, like like 150, like the kind of like like taxidermy that you remember from the old Sternberg Museum where everything was like
Oh
150 years old.
yeah. That
They
was some of my favorite shit
they've
though.
got a whole room of that shit of like
Excellent.
really old stuff, and then all these facades they took off of.
Maybe they have some of my dad's old duck heads that my grandma got rid of
Maybe.
years ago.
But what's that place, that installation in the Santa Fe and Boulder that you go to, the whatever,
Meow Wolf.
Meow Wolf. It's like what I imagine Meow Wolf for kids and adults is like.
Hmm.
So like
Interesting.
yeah,
I
so
want to go to that because Meow Wolf's one of my favorite things
it's like
out there.
if you look it up, City Museum, St. Louis, there was a thing. It's 6 stories high, half of it is outside, 4 stories up, and you can literally crawl up like as a kid, like in 4 stories high with like nothing underneath you except you're just wrapped in. I mean, it was if I
That
was
doesn't seem smart.
well, it's totally safe because it's completely wrapped in like metal, so you can't fall out. Like,
Mhm.
um, anyway, I can't do it justice. All I would say is that if you hate kids, you probably won't like it. But if you're a kid at heart and you love avant-garde weird shit, definitely go. And then finally, I want to plug this James Beard nominated restaurant we went to in St. Louis
Mm.
called Balkan Box Street, and it's Slovenia, Slovenia, Bosnian type cuisine
Okay.
that is affordable. So like $17 a plate, basically.
Oh,
And
cool.
and
Okay.
they make their own pita type thing every day. It's baked fresh. And they've been nominated 3 years in a row. And
Damn.
I was not expecting it to be. I was like, me. I'm like, what are we gonna go eat? Fucking, like Luke fish, best like we gotta go. And I'm like,
Yes.
but I told her I was like, you're going to this with me, so like, like you can pick where we eat, and it was delicious. So if you're ever in St. Louis,
Cool.
Balkan Box Treat. Anyway, I have a song. I don't have a song. Um, give
A
me.
record?
I have a record. Sorry, give me a second here. Do do do. So I haven't been buying records lately because you know stuff's going on.
Fun employment.
But I saw these guys play open for well, anyway, this guy who's the guitar player playing with Dave Bazan now is in this band. It's called Silver Torches, and I would call it. It's this is record is old. This came out in like 2017, but I'd never heard of it before,
Okay.
and I would call it a legit cross between uh, Pedro the Lion and Pinback,
Hmm.
Cool. Okay.
and it's a very strong. Uh, it's a very strong record. So the name of the record is "Let It Be a Dream" by the Silver Torches. And so anyway,
Sweet.
that's what
Okay.
that was. It's on all the services. I would take a look at it if I were you. So that's it. I'm just going back through
Cool.
some bunch of records that I only listened to once or twice. So you will have another retro record next week. So
Excellent.
anyway,
I like it.
okay.
Smith, what are your plugs, sir?
So as I previously mentioned, I did not have a lot of plugs, but we did go to the documentary a world premiere of When Everyone Swims, and it's a documentary that our friend Gerald Harkness did. We've been to I think 3 of these so far. This was exceptionally cool because it was at the Indiana State History Museum, which is an IMAX theater, and so it was on the IMAX. And it's funny that you mentioned the 4K and IMAX thing because like there was like this big disclaimer like at the beginning of the movie where it was just like this is not an IMAX approved or enhanced film. But it looked great. It was actually really beautiful. And what it's about is kind of the just kind of general inequities with access to swimming, and sort of talked about kind of how segregation was a huge deal up until the Civil Rights Act, until
Uh-huh.
kind of that was dealt with. And then, but even after that, like how few public swimming pools there are. Like a lot of them are country clubs, and
Right.
access is very limited. So it was actually really, really good. It was gorgeously shot. Like he's done a lot of stuff, and I really enjoyed it. Just looked great. There were some nice celebrities there. There were a couple Olympic swimmers. One of
Oh,
them, Cullen
That's cool.
Jones, who won an Olympic medal. You ever like see someone like at a thing? I'm just like eating meatballs and like getting my free drinks. But I'm like that guy is somebody. I don't know, because like there's a certain way you can dress that just implies that you are of import.
yeah, yeah.
And he was one of them, and I was like, oh, that guy is probably pretty important, and he was. He was really won like an Olympic medal, and also who else? What was her name? It was like Lily King was the other one who was I think won gold. Whatever the Olympics is. When was that?
Yeah,
2018,
those things.
2020? I don't know. Anyway, from Indiana, 2016. She's from
Hmm.
Indiana, so she was there. And no, it was really good. My first kind of movie premiere.
That's super fun.
It was,
White
it was
Hell
red
yeah.
red
pretty
carpet.
cool.
Red carpet.
So this was interesting. They called
Did
it
you do a little posing?
We did not. No, we did
Oh,
not go to the
damn it.
pre-ceremonies, or probably I didn't. I didn't know. I mean, she told me, but Kathy told me, but I forgot that there was like there was like a reception and everything. But we got there in time to get a free drink and some rather tasty meatballs. I gotta say, the spring
You have
rolls.
mentioned the meatballs. They must have been good. You
They
mentioned
were
them
pretty
twice.
good.
I love that.
They were
That
pretty
actually
good.
cracked
They were
me
pretty
up.
good.
You
I'm
know,
like,
I'm over
I'm
there
gonna.
getting my
I'm.
meatballs and
It
drinks.
was pretty good. It was pretty good.
There's Olympians there.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Yes.
I'm,
As to summarize
bless
my
you,
life,
sir.
I'm like,
Fucking
who is
amazing.
that guy? I eat my meatballs. He looks famous and well toned. Yes. So anyway, really good.
I'm much more of a meatball and drinks person myself,
Yeah,
so
me
I
too.
salute you.
It was nice. It was nice. I was trying to think of what else they had, like little crab cakes.
Well, I mean, you say
Were they good? Because sometimes those things can be a little iffy in terms of
For
hors d'oeuvres.
for heavy to medium heavy apps, it was pretty good.
Okay.
It was not bad. The meat, like I said, the meatballs were rather tasty. Everything else was passable.
Smell like the meatballs might be a plug too.
I think we probably
Maybe.
we'll count that as two. We'll count that as two. The meatballs. No, there was a blue carpet, what they called a blue carpet premiere, which I'd never heard of, and I totally
I haven't
meant
heard
to
of
ask
that.
Chat GPT what that meant, but I didn't get around to it. So maybe a follow up. But it was a blue
Yeah,
carpet premiere. Maybe documentaries have a blue carpet.
Do a blue carpet.
Do this right quick.
I know the only red carpet shit I've ever done was South by Southwest film, and we accidentally found ourselves on the red carpet.
Well,
and I was trying to be funny, and I turned around, so my back was facing the photographers and went like this.
we can't see
And
what you're
like
doing.
I just heard the like click 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 and laughing. And I was like, I did like one of these things and then fucking ran because I was starting to get red. Yeah. That was it.
Yeah. So just to answer the question, because I threw it out there into the universe, is that the purpose is when it's associated with a specific theme or a cause, as opposed to an award ceremony or being celebrated. So it's sort of like a
I like
blue
that.
carpet. Okay.
Blue carpet.
But yeah, it was really nice. Like it was really cool. Summer Sanders, who I don't know if anybody remembers who Summer Sanders was. I had like a giant crush on this woman when I was like in the 90s, and she was a celebrity. And
what was she on?
She was like, she did like some like NBA show, and then I think she like did some stuff for Nickelodeon or MTV for a while. But anyway, she was one of the interview subjects, and
that got you going. Like back in the day,
it got me through all the
better than tentacle porn.
It is better than thank you, Dawson. It's better than tentacle porn. 90s crushes.
I am never gonna fucking forget that, Tyson. Ever.
Nor should you.
Hey, neither.
Jesus, I can't.
Neither.
I would like to.
I would like to too. I was just trying to get. I told you it was like a deathbed confession.
It's not just tentacle porn. It's with a 15-year-old.
It is. Yeah.
It's the whole shebang.
We both were like, "What is this?" There we go.
That is
this. I want to go back to
situation. Yeah, I want my mommy.
She was fucking a freshman in high school. Well, I mean, it's not like, come on.
We're probably attributing some innocence that doesn't belong.
Sorry, college even. Come on.
College. We love you. We got to bust your balls.
That's fine. Hey, look, it happened.
You brought it up.
I know.
So
I'm glad.
It's on you.
Really. I'm glad it's out there. I'm glad. I can sleep tonight finally.
I can sleep tonight. All right, I got some plugs. Smith, this is actually just a +1 to your plug last week, maybe, or the week before. Okay. Jonas and I blew through Mobland on Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
Fucking great.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good.
Everybody in it is phenomenal, especially Helen Mirren. I don't even think I like her anymore because she's that good at being a bitch in the show.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
She's mean. Yeah.
Yeah, she is mean and crazy. So anyway, yes, I'm gonna plug that. And then Jonas and I started season 3 of Traders UK on Peacock. Love it.
Yeah.
It's my one reality show that I absolutely adore. The American version with What's his nuts? Why am I not thinking of him? Alan.
Alan Cumming. Or no,
Yeah, Alan Cumming. You got it. That's my favorite, but this is my second favorite. The host is this like really cool like rocker chick, and she's a badass. Anyway, big fan. And then I'm gonna pull a Tyson right now.
Uh-oh.
We got a Beach House record last night. This one's fantastic. It's Bloom. If you haven't listened to it, you should. Very excited to listen to it this weekend when we're inside after doing yard work and cleaning out the garage, because that's the plan, and I'm not happy about
now.
it.
That's
I know.
what you do as a homeowner.
Yeah, you do.
Fuck, dude.
Yeah.
And it's crazy too, because we've gotten so much rain, and just all of the shit in the yard that's overgrown is nuts. Like in the course of 2 weeks.
It's amazing. Yeah. It's once you
I am
kind of
a
relate
41, almost 42-year-old woman with that statement. So
once you see like what nature does to your own property, it's kind of
it's
kind of amazing.
Crazy.
Like those dandelions, those fuckers like growing like 14 minutes.
Man.
It's amazing.
And I used to make fun of my mom when she'd pull weeds all the time. Mom, I understand. Fucking suck. The worst. Do you guys have unplugs this week? Did you unplug?
I do have an unplug.
Oh, okay. Go for it.
Well, apparently the crab cakes at Matt's function were suck compared to the meatballs, so that's my unplug.
I mean, I don't eat crab cakes, so I can't. That's a pretty good one. That's a pretty good one. I don't eat crab cakes, so I can't verify that they suck.
Tyson.
That was pretty good. God damn it.
I'll be with you in just a sec. God damn it. Smith.
Oh, no.
You have one, buddy?
You don't. I mean, I just like it.
Feel free to unplug something that I stated earlier. You know.
No, it's all right. No, I feel like you've won the moment, and I'm okay with that. Learn something, Rockies, and no. I think I'm going to leave it there. No, I had nothing. No, I did not get the opportunity to consume a lot of new media this weekend. So I just did a general disdain for existence is what I'm kind of rolling with.
Well done. I like that. Existence. Totally that works.
You have an unplug?
I do, actually.
Nice.
It is the newest album from Arcade Fire, Pink Elephant.
You know what? I actually thought they were pretty good on Saturday Night Live this week. But what I will say is that everything I read, they said it's real synth heavy, and what they played was not synth heavy at all. And I actually thought it was okay. What do you think?
Yeah, I liked what they did on SNL. I just have a problem with Win Butler. I think that he's kind of a pig, and you know, this whole album is about like, I don't know, him and his wife, who's also in the band, like coming to terms with his, you know, indiscretions, and like, it's just not very good songwriting. And it just sounds like he's like making up excuses for why he banged a bunch of chicks on the road and like almost screwed up his marriage, and it's kind of a piece of shit.
Yeah,
and I'm like, we really needed a whole album about this.
I've only heard this single that was on like Sirius XM or whatever, and whatever the college station, the college channel, and I didn't really. I planned on listening to it, but now, fuck it.
It's all right. It's not like great Arcade Fire like from back in the day.
I mean, like the last Arcade Fire record I liked was the double release, and that's goddamn been 8 or 9 years ago.
That was a while ago.
I mean,
right? Tice, do you remember that double release? What was that?
I don't remember. I liked Funeral.
Yeah, Funeral is good.
And there was some point they put out a record, and I'm like, oh shit, they sound exactly like Steely Dan, and I was like, I'm out. Like I was just like, I don't know, and that's the one they won the Grammy for. I don't know. I don't remember what it was called.
Is that was that Reflector?
Yes, god damn it! And I just realized it wasn't 8 or 9 years ago. It was 12 years ago, which basically summarizes just pretty much,
Yeah. I mean, look, I'll listen to anything they put out. Usually,
I will too.
It's not at the top of my list, but like maybe they'll make another Funeral. You just never know. But I mean,
I hope so.
Ever since they got rid of the guy that just played the drums like this. I mean, on Saturday Night Live, they had a woman.
I agree.
On Saturday Night Live, when they had the woman playing the brushes, like the Tree Limbs. Do you remember this?
No, I don't remember that.
You should watch it. It's the second song. And
I need to rewatch it. Okay.
But the songs were okay. But Beth's like, these are weird songs. She's like, even for Arcade Fire, and I'm like, yeah, they are kind of weird. You know, like I
well, they just doing like it's like almost meta. Like they're doing like a character of themselves almost.
Yeah.
Like they did this whole like album release party thing in Brooklyn, where they started in the theater and then they moved the whole band out into the street and kept singing. And Wynn was on a cab, like singing to the, audience that filtered out into the street. And I'm like, it's not cool anymore, guys. You have your own shtick and we're over it. I don't know.
Or just, narrow your shtick to the good part.
Yeah, exactly. Like focus it somehow. Yeah. But I don't know. I feel like kind of an ass because I did have some friends go to that and they were like, it was fucking badass. They're back. And I'm like, are they? I don't know.
I'm pretty sure we've got tickets to go see them. So, I mean, I still like the band. Hopefully they, But,
play the hits.
Yeah, I mean, I was counting the number of band members because I was like, that's the fewest. On Saturday Night Live, I was like, that's the fewest amount of members. Because his brother quit. He's gone. Mm-hmm. He's been gone for a while. And, and Reflector was a weird record anyway, right? Like, to be fair, it was like
I think that's when they started like do that shit that Coldplay was doing, where they're like, well, we're just gonna embrace this weird shit, and we went to Africa and had a great time, and now we're fucking into that. So funky sort of whatever.
No, the self-importance thing always gets to me with a band. They've been there for a while. Like that always ruins it for me. I'm just like, okay,
I know. Same.
Right.
You're not that great.
You're not Bryan Adams, Arcade Fire. You're not Bryan Adams.
Yeah,
fucking Canadian.
I'm sorry. Run to You is as good as anything on Reflector.
Fucking A. Amen. Yeah.
We should kind of wrap this up because I have to.
You probably should.
Right. Yeah, I gotta pee. All right. Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure.
And we'll see you next week.
Yeah, we'll see you next week.
Great show. All right. Bye.
I apologize in advance for this.
So excited. You are not.
Oh shit, hurry up. I don't have a lot of time. Alright. That's it. Better than Thin Man's fucker.